to see everybody's snowy faces out there. At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will call the roll, please.
Master Combs, here. Master Barger,
Here.
Master Tudor,
Here.
Master Botkin,
Present.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, if y'all will, bow your heads, just a moment of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, just thank you for this wonderful day. Lord, thank you for all the many blessings that you give us each and every day. Lord, I want to say a special prayer for the Sheriff Cole's family. Lord, just be with them in their loss. Lord, just touch them and heal their heavy hearts. Lord, lead, guide, and direct us during this meeting. Let us be open-minded. Let us have good discussion. And keep us safe throughout the rest of the week. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
This time for everybody rise. Tom, if you will, lead us in prayer, please.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Guys, y'all had a chance to look over the minutes from last meeting. This time I need a motion and a second for the approval of the minutes.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, please.
Who was the second? I did.
John.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. At this time, Glenna, if you will, give us your treasurer's report.
As you'll find in your drop box, I have put the financial statement as of 12/31/2015. As of 12/31/2015, our total fund balance was $8,225,569.33. 6 months through the year, our revenues for the general fund are at 76%. Our expenditures are at 36%. Our road fund revenues are at 42%, and our expenditures are at 34%. Our jail fund revenues are at 51%, and our expenditures are at 46%. Our revenues for the CSEP fund are at 25%, and our expenditures are at 23%. And our 911, the revenues are at 52%, and our expenditures are at 43%. So all of our expenditures are under the 50%, which is doing good. The road, we are expecting some funds that are due to us from the state road maintenance program. They haven't sent us the first, second, and now they owe us the third quarter. So altogether, that's about $500-something thousand. So that will bring us up to where we would normally be if they'd already sent it to us.
Right. Yeah, we've been calling on that, correct?
Yes. Any questions over the claims or anything?
I just have a question. It's not really about the claims, but it's on the very last page, on page 36. And it has to do with the 911 telephone tax and the cell phone receipts.
Okay.
Is our 911 tax funding our cost now?
The telephone tax is at 61%, but we have lowered that telephone tax every year by at least 4% because it drops. Those are landlines, and they keep dropping. So every year we've been lowering them. It looks like we're doing good on this year, but we've lowered that amount from last year. We brought it down quite a bit. Is it funding it? Yes, with the support of the three governments. As you see, the down below that where it says fiscal court, operational support, City of Richmond and City of Berea operational support. With those supports, it's funding well, but you know, of course, we had to raise those up to $148,000 each to get that funded. Landlines are still going down, and cell phone receipts. It even looks like some of those are down. Like we're only at 44.59%. It's just an ongoing problem on trying to keep the 911 funding.
The cell phone receipts, is that 44% compared to what?
Through the middle of the year, we should be at 50%. This is 6 months through the year. Those are 2 quarters. They pay that in quarterly payments. Those cell phone receipts are collected by the state from cell phone companies. Then they're distributed out in a formula that the state has to the counties.
Why are those receipts going down, Glenn? I mean, looks like more people are buying and purchasing cell phones, you know. The use of cell
I don't
phones is
know.
going up every day.
Well, we only get a portion of that.
Yeah.
We don't get it all.
Yeah.
No,
We
and
don't
it's
get a
split
portion.
between
state's the one that buys that.
And I think there's
But
you
there's
have to
some
check
admin
with
fees that come
Wendy.
out of
Wendy
it
knows
too.
more about it because she's on the CMRS board. But I think certain companies, some of these pay-as-you-go phones,
They
don't pay in.
They don't pay nothing.
Yeah. So a lot of people that are going with these throwaway phones or these, those are not under the legislature right now.
That was an issue that they tried to deal with last year, but it didn't get passed, so hopefully that'll. come back.
Hopefully in this
It's
legislation.
causing the problem for the retailer, I think the reason they're not doing it. It's a nationwide problem, the cell phone thing is with funding is 911. It's not just here,
It's everywhere. Any other questions?
Thanks, Glenn. Appreciate it. Guys, at this time, I'd like to to allow me to amend the agenda. We need to delete the second reading of the ethics ordinance, which is item number 2 on the agenda. We need to delete it off the agenda today, and it'll be back up for the next meeting.
So move.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Magistrate Barger?
Yes.
Magistrate Tudor?
Yes.
Magistrate Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. At this time, I'd like Dustin to come up and talk to us about the bids for the EMA CSEP BDA bidirectional amplifier system.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Like the judge said, previous court, we opened up the 2 bids that we had for the bidirectional amplifier system to enhance the cell phone coverage within the renovated EOC. 2 companies bid on that project, AMK and Comtronics. After a review of those bids, it was decided that AMK met all the requirements of the proposal, and they were the low bid. So it would be our recommendation that we award the bid to AMK.
The price difference between them, a lot of it is because AMK is already there. Is that correct?
Some of that, they Comtronics also bid a kind of a separate system that was a lot more intensive. It dealt with some things dealing with the tower behind the EOC, so that drove some of the cost.
Okay.
They also their bid does not meet the RFP.
Right. Okay. But our RFP. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
our requirements.
Well, there is a big difference, 112,000 and 13,000.
Yes, yes, there is.
So they didn't actually bid it by the RFP. They bid it by their own
Correct.
ideas,
Yes.
what they wanted to propose.
Yeah, they went with a different type of system. It's a distributed antenna system instead of the amplifiers.
Okay.
And that drove up the cost.
Okay.
I move we approve.
Good.
Second.
Any more discussion, guys? Call the roll.
Magistrate Barger?
Yes.
Magistrate
Thanks.
Tudor?
Yes.
Magistrate Botkin?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next on the agenda is jail. It's a classification salary adjustment. This is for office manager. This is one that got left out, and I hope this is our last one. Yeah, I think it is. So, this is obviously following what we'd already discussed and voted on in our classification schedule. And this recommendation is to move Katie Tate. Obviously, she's already office manager for the jail. She deals with all the finances. She is a deputy as well. And this moves her to $49,920 salary. And her current is $45,302.
Judge, this is a salary based rather than hourly.
Yes. Yeah, it's one that falls in, you know, when we did the classifications, and I don't know if it's through the labor cabinet or what, but there's criteria you have to follow of who can be salary and who can be hourly. And this is one that actually does fall under salary.
So with the salary, there'd be no overtime paid on that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Make a motion to accept.
Second.
Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Magistrate Tudor?
Yes.
Magistrate Botkin?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Magistrate Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. All right, so this is sort of already out there. We were going to actually present this today, but since we had a kind of an early snow event, we went ahead and started the last Thursday. The team worked really hard, and we just want to sort of show this off to all the magistrates. Some of you have already seen it, know about it, but it gives you all the opportunity to ask questions. The community, actually the ones that will be watching this on TV, they'll actually be able to see it, and it's sort of to market it, to better serve, communicate with the community. So at this time, y'all go ahead. Can I turn the lights off?
So we had planned on presenting today and launching it at the first major snowfall of the season. The snow got ahead of us a little bit, so we adapted. So over the weekend, we deployed our tracks system. It was in response to the previous winter storm that we had at the beginning of Judge Taylor's term, and the feedback that we received from that. So the major components, major issues that we ran into is the fact that we had no real way to communicate to constituents who were asking about the status of their roads, who wanted to know what conditions were. Emergency personnel were wanting to know what road conditions were. It was very siloed within the road department. Road department was very well aware of what was going on out there, but it was difficult to communicate that to the general public. So what you're looking at here is our track system, and there are a couple of really important factors. We're going to demo it for you. We actually have a driver who's driving out there right now, so you can watch it in real time. But when the snow started to fall, we directed constituents to this site, and what it would enable them to do is log in, key their address, and we're going to demo it for you, and then look for where they're plowing on their particular road and surrounding. So Megan Tucker and Chris Israel from our IT department, GIS department, are going to demo it, and then we'll talk a little bit about the success of the deployment.
So as you can see here, you can type into the box up there the street name, or they can put in their exact address. Most likely they're better off with just the street name anyways. So they can take a look there. As I started typing Crutcher, it brought down the list. They can click on that. When they click on it, it's going to actually take them to the street view. So they can see here their street. They can click on it. It's going to give them some information about the road. So as you can see, this is a county road. If I clicked on one of these gray roads like down here, it's going to tell me this is not a county maintained road. It's actually maintained by the city. Most of the time, the feedback that we got from last year was that citizens from inside the city limits were calling the county road department and asking why their road hadn't been plowed. And we'd have to explain to them, well, it's not a county maintained road. So this system, we hoped to alleviate some of the phone calls into the road department by giving this information to the constituent. So from the feedback we got on the website and Facebook and stuff like that, it seemed to be really helpful. And Colleen will go into a little bit more detail about that. You also can zoom down in a little further, and as you zoom in, you see it leaving green triangles. What that is telling you is that one of our plow trucks has been on that road and either assessed the condition, it's either laid salt or it's plowed. Now moving forward next year, we're going to look into it. Right now these are all statically assigned, so we know that dump truck 66 drives this road. And that's great as long as dump truck 66 drives that road. If dump truck 66 breaks down and we send 30, we have an issue because we can't put 30 on his route. So then we lose the information. So what we're looking for in the future is to actually enhance this a little bit with knowing whether the plows are up or down in the truck. So that's sort of phase 2 of where we're going. So we'll know that any dump truck that's in the county that puts a blade down is plowing or salting that road. So that's kind of where we're moving there. So this was a huge deal. This was all built in-house. This was not something that we bought from anybody. This is all part of what we already own. So we use the Esri mapping products, and we use all of that to do every GIS function. The only piece we purchased was the Geo Event Tracker, which is what allows us to capture GPS information. So that's the only piece of software we bought. The only other expense we had were the devices we installed in the truck, and we actually installed those in the truck. We didn't pay anybody to do that. Herbie did, and Shane did a lion's share of those, and they did a great job. They came up and worked on the first try. Can't say enough thanks to those guys. But So largely, we're not gonna talk a whole lot of money, but I think it was $16,000 is what we spent to bring the system online. I don't know what the future cost will be, but Megan's gonna give you a little more detail about the mapping aspect of it. This was just more of a technical piece.
Well, there's not a whole lot left to say about the mapping aspect, but really it was really important to us to have a clearer picture of what kind of work the road department was doing in a snow event like this, in any snow event really, but something severe, which is what we dealt with last year too. We wanted to be able to see what was going on. In addition to this public-facing map that really lets people have a chance to assess the safety of their situation, we have an administrative view that we provided to the road department so that they can keep track of their trucks in real time. If someone gets stuck, if we just happen to notice that one particular truck has been at a 0 speed in one place for a particular amount of time, they can check on that driver. They can check to see if there is a malfunction with the truck. They're able to see who has been down which road and if they're on the correct road. It's all a lot more information immediately accessible than what anybody had before. And in the future, we can only improve this from here on out. There will only be more information, there will only be better information. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I hope everybody has found it really useful.
Thanks, Mary.
So to give you guys a sense of what kind of usage we had on the system, we had 91,595 posts reached, which means that's the number of people who saw us communicate about the track system, and we had people all over the state looking at it, predominantly because aside from the city of Louisville, we're the only local government that has a system like this now. And so we had calls from Winchester and from some of our other surrounding areas of people interested. I know that posts on Facebook were asking if the cities would be interested in partnering, so that might be an avenue to go down. But 91,000 people via Facebook looked at this with an immense amount of shares. We had engagement of about 17,000 users, whether they're commenting, liking, sharing it. It actually bumped our total number of likes on Facebook when we posted about the track system up 1/3. So we have now over 3,000 users on Facebook. We gained 930 in a 2-day period, which is huge. Just so that you know, the system itself via the website had about 7,000 hits of people looking at it and updating on their roads. And anecdotally, I can just tell you, last year compared to this year, the tone from the constituents was very different because I think they felt like they had real information to go by, and we were able to provide that for them quickly. In addition, we had some ancillary benefits that happened for us aside from just the communication. We're going to use this data to be able to assess the efficiency of our routes and to be able to look at ways that we can address how we plow our roads and under what conditions. And we're also able to, as we discussed, monitor that safety. We have not really had an ability for Stacy to check in with the guys when they're out. And I think it's important for us to be able to assist them when they're on the road. I know that Scott and Willie appreciated that, as well as when they got out there and weren't sure about the route. They'd either subbed for another route and wanted some direction. Stacy was able to walk them right through when Willie and Scott were in a truck and not able to do that. So that was beneficial as well. We do have a lot of fixes and changes that we're going to make. Probably the number one thing that we're going to work a lot harder to do communication-wise for the next snow is communicating to constituents what they can do to help get their roads plowed faster. We had a variety of people who said, you didn't come to plow our roads. And then when we ended up looking at the system and seeing we'd made 2 and 3 passes at their roads, it's because they've got their cars on the street and our plows can't pass, or we've had a situation where the chain broke because it can't make it up the hill. That kind of communication helps us increase the communication and ensure that people get on the road when the roads are ready. We will also probably move to a plan system in the future. A plan A, identifying what are primary roads, plan B, if we do primary and secondaries, and so on. So, Are there any questions for us?
Colleen, how much trouble would it be to coordinate with the city, and have them on board with this?
If they wanted to install, and I'm going to speak for you all, so I apologize. But they do have a GIS. Both Berea and the city of Richmond have their own GIS providers internally, just like we do. But I do think we would be able to partner with them. They would just need the GPS devices. We already clearly have the ability to see the roadways. It's just a matter of putting a tracker on the
It
system.
wouldn't make our system any more confusing to the citizens.
No, what we will do in the future is be just looking at data points traveling. They basically look like ants just moving along in the system, and so you'll just have more ants on the grid.
And they'll be able to tell whether it's a city truck or a county truck.
We would be able to communicate that. Obviously, that would have to be, if we were to provide that, we would do that through an interlocal, and that would have to come to you all for agreement, so.
Yeah.
But we encourage any kind of cooperation between the county and the cities to benefit the taxpayers.
And I'm sure you could set that up if they did wanna do that, to where if they were a city resident, then all the city streets would be blue and all the counties would be gray.
You can do
So,
any
yeah.
color.
So, I mean, there's all,
It can be a rainbow on there.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Anything else?
This was very helpful to me, Colleen, because you can see that truck that's up there that at this point in time looks like it stopped. But I had several phone calls about someone saying, you know, when are they coming? And I was able to look and see, well, we've got a truck heading in that direction, and take a guess. You know, well, it looks like you'll be there in 30 minutes in your neighborhood. It was just immensely helpful in just giving somebody a ballpark idea that at least there's somebody coming.
Right.
Or in some cases to say, hey, I'm sorry, but we don't have one in your area right now. So, I mean, it worked both ways, but either way, it was not me sitting in the dark and them sitting in the dark wondering if anybody was ever gonna show up.
That's right.
So it was really helpful. It's a great tool.
I don't know if you can do this, but this shows where it's going, doesn't show where it's going next. So if you were to look at this right now, you would think that it probably discontinued to go down Jolly Ridge, but instead it might hit Muleshed. So I wonder if the technology would allow you to kind of highlight where they're going next, because you could blow right through people looking at this and think, well, they're gonna be at Muleshed next, and keep right on plowing.
That is what having a plan system will enable us to do. The problem due to the routes is that as we modified on the fly, when the snow started falling faster, and we no longer did 100% plowing in order as they get to the road as they normally would, and we did an amended schedule, you have to have that programmed. We haven't thought through what a plan A, plan B, and plan C has historically. The road department has just kind of known that as practice. So by allowing us to know that for next year, or even maybe for next snow, depending on how, when that falls, we'll be able to modify that to be able to do routing as well.
Well, you could put a number on the road. Once you have a plan, put a number on, like Muleshed would be number 3, so it's gonna be the third one. Then going the other way would be 2 or 4 or 5. And that would be very helpful. Then that way, if someone did ask us, well, they've got 3 done, I'm 4, so they come to me.
They know
now,
their route.
Instead of just saying,
The arrow, because you can't tell by the arrow, because it's going 3 different ways.
Right. No, that's a great suggestion. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
thanks, guys. Appreciate all y'all's hard work in this. It was a great trial run. I think, Willie, you're gonna come up next and give us kind of just a little bit of overview of the last 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah, I've got some numbers here from the snowstorm, the January 20th storm, which was, 2 to 3 inches of snow in areas. We used approximately 600 tons of salt on that, very little overtime. Looks like a $54,000 expense. But then, of course, the weekend was quite a bit more. We used probably 1,200 tons of salt and about 1,200 overtime hours. And that gives you a figure of 128,000. Then just on the weekend event, the 3-day event, this past weekend we used 3,000 gallons of diesel fuel. And that's $4,500 worth. So those figures gives you $186,720. That's just on the diesel, salt, and overtime.
What was that number again, Willie?
186. 7/20. We have, that's not including any breakdowns, mechanical repairs, anything such as that. So I think we're estimating, somewhere around $200,000.
Right.
$200,000.
And that doesn't include overtime in other departments either.
No,
So that would just be road department.
that's just road department. That's- And I'd just like to say, the track system worked good for us. It really helped us. It helped Stacy probably in the office more than anyone, answering the phone calls and giving the information out. And, I'm proud of the road department, what we did. All the guys, they worked long hours, all weekend. Not a single one complained about anything.
How many mailboxes are we gonna have to put up?
We have, 2 separate crews working on them today.
And to be fair to the road department, it's not that they hit that mailbox, but that snow hit it and knocked it down.
The snow knocks it over, yes.
So that's to be fair to the men.
I'd like to thank my mechanics especially, we were really hard on them this weekend, but they took care of everything. They stayed right there and took care of everything.
Like I say, you had a number of chains you gotta repair now, that'd probably be a day or two, huh?
We're working on them today. Yeah, getting ready for the next one.
Let's hope there's not an extra. Yeah. One of the things that I do want to comment is the safety factor. And, I think priority for me is that our employees are safe. And I know, we talk a lot about the track system, which goes hand in hand with our new radio system that we have in our trucks.
Yes.
And the briefings that I've gotten from you guys from the past is as you get down in Red Lick somewhere, some of the old radios never even worked. And that was one of the comments that a lot of the drivers had made, is that they could communicate. Stacy could communicate. Just like Megan was talking about, when that arrow was sitting still, she could actually get a hold of them. And so that right there in itself is a lot more of an efficient system, because in the past, I'm sure, if somebody was sitting or you hadn't seen them and they couldn't radio out because they were in some deep holler, then you or Matt or somebody would actually have to drive all the way down there and look for them.
That's correct. I forgot to mention the new radios. They were a big help also.
Yep.
And
And that's thanks to CSEP. I believe all those came through CSEP. Is that correct? Yep.
Yes. We had no injuries that I'm aware of. We had several trucks that got stuck. But, as far as injuries, we had none.
Willie, I don't think the public really realizes how dangerous that job is. I rode with one of the trucks drivers last winter when we had the big snowstorm, and I'm not really easily scared, but a couple times I was a little nervous about some hills and stuff we were going up and down. But their safety is important as the residents of the county,
Yes,
our
it is.
truck driver. And I noticed somewhere I saw yesterday that it wasn't around here, but they'd found a snowplow driver dead in his truck, and I
Yes.
don't know whether it was from heart attack or what the situation was, but I mean, he could have been, if they'd had some way to track him, he may have been saved, if they got to him in time.
That could have saved a great deal of time in finding him, as it could have.
Absolutely. So their safety is just as important as the residents, and I hope people will really understand that.
Yes, to me it is. To me, their safety is.
Well, I noticed on the radios, and I haven't in the past as much, the drivers talking to each other and volunteering to go ahead and cover a piece of a road because that guy was lagging behind, well, I'm already there, I'm gonna go ahead and get it for you, and thank you, and I appreciate it. I've not heard about that like I have this year. And I think they're just willing to help each other, but they're able to communicate better and let each other know how close they are to each other sometimes too.
That helps when they know with the truck that's on the route next to them. That
Right.
helps when they know where they're at on the route.
Yeah.
It does. And I didn't mention, we had in the southern part of the county, we had over 20. We measured places had over 20 inches of snow.
Story of your life.
And probably overall is somewhere between 12 and 14 overall.
I know we got a briefing from EMA. State Police had 17, I believe, is the email that I got. So that's
And then
pretty close to the center of the county.
we had
State Police
we had
post.
8-foot snow drifts off of Duncan.
Mhm.
And one particular road out there, we worked 2 days with the backhoe on it, getting it open.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too, is this snow was tough, and I said this a couple days ago, that I'd much rather go back to February and March and have those snows. I mean, the reason was because there's the drifts that we got this time. I mean, that's almost like making it snow twice.
Yeah, we had 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And I guess I need to thank the Southern Madison Water. They helped us with the backhoe, and Duncan was one of those jobs they did.
yeah.
I'd like to thank them.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you did that as well. They, Larry Todd, chairman of the Madison Southern Water District, called me and just said, "Hey, we're available if you need us," and was willing to jump out and help if we needed. And Willie took him. I called Willie and told him, and Willie took him up on it. So we do thank them for being eager to jump in there and help.
Good.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Willie.
you, Willie.
Appreciate it. Guys, at this time, I need a motion, a second, to go into executive session concerning a personnel matter.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Ready? So Kenny, Larry made the motion to come out of executive session. John seconded it. Need you to call the roll, please.
Master Combs,
Yes.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to terminate Billy England from Solid Waste Department.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Barger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Botkin,
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. All right, judge's report. A few things just want to announce. Bids being accepted through January the 29th, 2016 for the management contract for the Willie Green Lake. That is just 3 days from now, is that right? Bids being accepted through February the 5th for heating and air, heating and air company. That's a heating and air company to do all the county's heating and air work, as well as insurance. So that's life insurance, property casualty, all insurances that county government has. We're taking bids on those through February the 5th. I do want to thank, do want to give a shout out to Robert Puckett at the jail. Robert came in with me and brought some inmates out on Sunday to clean up around the annex, the jail, sheriff's department, the courthouse, family court. We worked for about 4 hours out there cleaning all the snow, getting ready to open yesterday. So I just want to thank him for his service to the county government, and also to the inmates that got to come out and help. Thank the IT department, EMA department, the road department, animal control for all the employees that came in and provided a great service to the community over the weekend. And I also want to thank the community for their patience, for their understanding of how tough of a snow that was, and because we do strive on their safety. Last but not least, do want to announce, we do have a pretty major drug epidemic in Madison County and really in our country. And there's an event this Thursday, January the 28th at 7 p.m. at First Baptist Church. And this is a Celebrate Recovery presents Chad's Hope. And it's a teen challenge of Kentucky. So anybody out in the community that is a parent, a grandparent, a friend, that they know there's teens that are facing some drug issues, drug challenges, you're invited to come to First Baptist Church 7 o'clock on Thursday, January the 28th. Comments from magistrates?
I'll try not to drag this out too long, Judge. First of all, I'd like to just acknowledge Dr. Walker being here. We went to transportation conference Thursday last week over in Lexington, and we got some good news while we were over there concerning the airport. Senator Stivers and several others, Congressman Barr and still several others, addressed the fact that they recognize that the counties with airports is a good thing for Kentucky, and it means It means growth, it means jobs, it means new roads, it means all kind of things, and that's good for us. It's good for our county. And so we were certainly glad to hear that there's funding in the future, hopefully for the Madison County Airport renamed soon. And so we're thrilled about that, and we're glad to see you here, Dr. Walker. I also wanted to just, yes ma'am, regional airport, that's correct. I wanted to say just quickly a couple things about the snow removal. Of course, everybody knows Friday about 5 o'clock. It started snowing, stopped sometime on Saturday around my house and through several places in South Madison County. We've already heard it was 20 and sometimes 18 to 20 plus inches of snow. Now, did we have some problems with that? Yes, we did. You know, we've got 18 trucks. At one point in time, we had 3 of them that were broken due to engine failure, blades not going down, spreaders, other things, other problems. And there's some things, and the reason I'm telling you that is there's some things you can't plan for. That's good to have plan B, but you can't plan for a engine blowing up in a truck. So they had to make adjustments for that, and one of the areas, and the only reason I'm going to tell you this is just how it works. One of the areas that was affected about that was the area that I live in. The road that I live in on, and above me, and Peggy Flats, Country State, some of those areas didn't get plowed until Saturday afternoon. And that was just due to the fact that we were trying to cover other things, snow falling, but the road department got their act together down there, as they always do. Said, look, we're in pretty good shape in one area. North Madison County is a little bit lighter. They sent some of the diverted trucks from there to come down and help out down on the south side. And that all worked out great, and that's the way that you do when you're managing, you're running the team down there. So I want to thank you guys for that and taking care of that. You know, you couple that problem with the fact that you have some new drivers, and even though they've been over their routes when the roads are dry, when it starts snowing, you got snow piled up, and it's dark, and it's this and it's that. Then you've got some other issues that you have to deal with. So, you know, try to back a truck down a 200-foot driveway or a single road in the dark with snow on both sides at 20 inches. And it's snowing so hard you can't see your hand in the front end, let alone the front end or the back end of the truck. There's just a lot of issues to deal with that. I've heard Magistrate Combs say this many times in court, that the most important road in Madison County is which one? Which one's that, Magistrate Combs?
The one I live on, I guess.
Yes, sir. That's exactly right. The one that runs in front of your house. That's the most important one in Madison County. And however, you know, one of the things that our residents realized that sometimes there's higher priorities. And you know, in the state of emergency, which was declared in Madison County, you still have state police, city police, sheriff's deputies. They have to go to work. You got first responders, fire, EMS, doctors, nurses. They have to go to work. Couple that with accidents, you know, wrecks. There was some special needs. They didn't blow their own horn, but we did have some times where that road department had to go down and plow out so ambulance could get in. And those things happen. You also have problems like special circumstances. You have people that have medical needs. They run out of medicine. They, unfortunately, and sometimes you don't plan, who knows when it's gonna snow. They run out of propane. They run out of this. They run out of that. Those are all things, in the past we've had calls where that a propane truck couldn't deliver to an elderly lady who was running out. So you have to help in those situations, and that has happened and was done. Now, I said all that mainly just to say this, that Madison County, and I've said this before, that we're a service organization. And now, do you, as residents, do you pay for those services directly? No. Do you pay for them indirectly? Yes. You pay taxes, you pay for our services. So with that in mind, that's the reason that you elect us, and that's the reason that we make decisions. And sometimes those decisions are things that you have to grow upon. And I'll give you an example of that. One of the process and one of the thought patterns, since it was snowing so much, is when do we salt? When do we not salt? We go out and put salt down on a road that's got 2 inches on it, only to get 10 more to have to come by and plow and scrape it all off. So those are factors that you have to consider because you're counting on us to be good stewards of your money, and those are just things that you have to play into it. Did we do the best that we could on that? I don't know, probably not, but that is the reason that we have reports, after action reports, we have meetings, we have lessons learned, we discuss things that went wrong, we also discuss things that went well and how that we can use something that went right in one place in another part of the county. So those are all things that help in. Did we do some things right? You bet you. The tracking system worked fantastic. It worked great for me as a county leader. It worked well for our citizens. It helped them stay informed on where trucks were at, when they were coming, if they were coming. It just didn't leave everybody in the dark. That was great. Let's see. I want to say that, you know, all in all, and basically, I mean, let's face it. Look out the window. You know, 2 days after a 20-inch snow, I drove around and took pictures on Friday. I posted them. You saw them. I drove around on Saturday, took pictures. You saw them. People that couldn't get out could see what was happening. I also went around on Sunday and took a picture of county roads that you could eat off of 2 days after a 20-inch snow. Our children missed 1 day of school. Today they went back to school. Friend, I'm gonna tell you something. That's remarkable for a county of our size, 465 miles with 18 trucks. I mean, that's just fantastic. They've done a great job on that. And then last, I'll just leave you with this, Judge. I'm gonna get kind of long-winded here, but I'll leave this and go. I just want everybody to know that, you know, for me personally, you can ask my wife about this. I criticize myself worse than any resident of Fourth District ever will. I'm always asking myself, you know, well, what can I do better? Should have done this. How can I resolve this? How can I help someone with this? How can I make that better? I look at all those things. I think that when you get to the point, and especially in a service organization, but it applies to any business, I don't care what it is, when you get to a point that you look at your job and you look what you're doing and you sit back and say, this is it. This is the Mecca. This is the best we're ever going to be. That's the time that you need to go to the house, because you can always be better. You can always prove. And that's where we're at. And so finally, I just want to say thank you for all the calls, good and bad. It helps us grow. It helps me grow. And if you need anything, you can call me, 200-9765. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tom. I don't have a 6-letter report here to give everybody, but I will.
Some of mine.
No, it's fine. I will comment a little bit on the snowstorm. I think the county, all in all, did a great job. I had several calls, but that will happen when you have that much snow. The roads were in pretty bad condition right when the snow was falling, but the county trucks were out there plowing. Had a few calls with individuals that wanted their road plowed first, and that always happens. These truck drivers have a route, and they have to stay on that route. If you have an emergency, call 911, call the county road garage. We will get a truck out there. We will get emergency vehicles out there to help you in need. We will not leave you stranded, I promise you that. But be patient, be understanding with the other individuals. If we call to have a road plowed out for you, we're pulling the truck off somebody else that may need it just as bad as you do. So please be understanding. I will recommend in the future that we may have a standby truck, private contractor to come out and plow some roads when we get behind. If we have a breakdown, we need a backup plan. I feel like that we don't wait 3 hours, because in a 3-hour period, a snowplow driver can get behind 30, 40 miles. And that's a whole lot of road needing to be plowed in a 3-hour period. And somebody needs to fill in that spot. So we do need some backup plans here. But I think all in all, it worked well, and I appreciate all Willie and the road department, each one of the drivers, what they got out there and did. I wouldn't have wanted to been out there all night long plowing roads, but they did. And I appreciate that. A little update on the jail task force. We're meeting monthly. I think we're going to maybe move that up to bi-monthly and do a little smaller groups and individualized areas that we're looking at, do some tours of some jails and rehab centers, and speed that up. Maybe we'll have some kind of recommendation by summer on that jail task force. So we're busy on that. The county's busy in a lot of things, but I know right now the road situation and the snow has been the main priority on everybody's minds, and I hope that's where everybody can get out. I've had some issues this morning about people's driveways. We're not really responsible for driveways, but if you're in a situation you feel like the county has blocked your driveway in, you can't get your car out, you're elderly and can't shovel it, we'll send a truck out there to try to help you get out. So be patient, be understanding, and just thank you for your help and everything that you do.
Thanks, John. Ross?
We'll show, we won't jump.
I've shoveled before.
Well, I as well appreciate everybody with the snow that we had. I know they've already been mentioned, but I want to thank Stacy and Scott and Willie and Colleen and the judge. I think that would be the main ones, as well as the GS department and Chris and them for orchestrating and planning this thing out. And I think it worked to a T as far as we're concerned. I know there's problems with any of it, but I've heard more positive comments this year than I ever have and got less complaints. And I think it was because Facebook, whatever, put the word out there, you know, be patient, this is our plan. If it works like it's supposed to, you may be snowed in for a day or a day and a half, but after that you'll be out, and that's exactly what happened. And with the kind of snow we had, I think common sense took over, and most people just said, well, we're just going to sit and wait it out, and it worked out just like it was supposed to. But I want to thank Willie too. He's always been able to help me when it comes to clearing the ferry road. The roads, if they're clear and the ferry's got snow and ice on it, don't do anybody any good because they can't get on it. And it's a downhill slope on both sides, and if it's slick at all, you're going to slide onto the ferry, and it's just a danger. So we have to close it down sometimes, even when the roads are okay. But that's very few times. But I just appreciate all the departments. I think they all work good together, 911 as well as the rest of them. I just appreciate everybody's efforts.
Thanks, Ross. Larry?
Well, everybody said just about everything needs to be said. You left Matt out, but that's all right. But the way I look at it, there'll probably be more babies born in September and October this year than there. Because people have to stay at home. But I didn't get to go with you all to transportation. You asked me to fill in for you, and thank you. I appreciate that. And we had a pretty good crowd on the new EMS building in Berea. Colleen was there, and I guess we had 18, 20 people, and we picked a good day.
Yeah.
We got right in the middle of the storm, the eye of the storm. But I just want to say once again, and I said it at the meeting, to groundbreaking. I want to thank Jimmy Cornelison. I want everybody in Madison County to know he's retired EMS. We have a new director. He's going to do a good job. But I do know for a fact that this would have not happened had it not been for Jimmy Cornelison. And that made my wish list that I made years and years ago complete. So I'm looking for a new project. So if you have anything, let me know. But other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here.
Glad you're here, buddy. Glad you're here. Comments from the audience? Anybody got anything? I need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Magistrate Tudor?
Yes.
Magistrate Botkin?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Magistrate Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next court date, Tuesday, February the 9th, 2016. It's here in Richmond. Again, that's Tuesday, February 9th, 2016, here in Richmond. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Call the roll, please.
Magistrate Botkin?
Yes.
Magistrate Combs?
Yes.
Magistrate Barger?
Yes.
Magistrate Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.